Lasse is in control, is kind of taking over the kind of whole side of the photography. Hayo is doing some of the illustration, and then Carl Glover also is very key to this, because Carl is brilliant at basically being able to create imitations of official documents. We have newspaper cuttings, fake newspaper cuttings, but they'll hopefully be so convincing that you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Even going down to the level of detail, like where you've cut out a newspaper cutting, there's some random stuff on the back, whether it's the sports results or something. That level of attention and detail, Carl is brilliant at that. It's a massive, sort of headache to do. So I think it's going to be something really beautiful, and hopefully, raise the bar again as far as the packaging is concerned.
So what attracts you to these giant concepts, particularly for your solo work?
I grew up with books and music together. I wasn't just listening to records, I was listening to records while I was reading. And so the idea of the musical journey as a kind of narrative, I guess, was ingrained in me from a very early age, from always kind of associating listening to music with reading stories, and stories that had a kind of narrative arc. And at the same time, of course, the music I was listening to tended towards the more, conceptual albums. I from a very early age, I loved, my father was listening to Pink Floyd records, my mother was listening to Giorgio Moroder, Donna Summer records, which in their own way are conceived as very kind of conceptual, musical journeys. And some of the Donna Summer albums have like 17-minute tracks taking up a whole of a side, and the way the grooves develop and the narrative of the music in itself tells a story in its own right, not just lyrically. So I was listening to those kind of records, and at the same time I was obsessed with literature. So for me, it was always about trying to tell a story through the music and through the lyrics. And I also had a tendency to also be very much attracted to the more melancholic, side of all the human condition, and the problems inherent in trying to make sense of the gift of life, and as a 15 or 14-year-old, teenage boy reading Kafka and Hermann Hesse and going into school and feeling very pretentious and very holier than thou, that's always been there in me, they're searching for answers and searching for meaning, as we all do, everyone does it. They're things that I come back to time and time again, but they're actually things that musicians come back to time and time again. Most of the classic concept records are about the same thing, actually. Quadrophenia, The Wall. They're about the same thing. They're about isolation, paranoia, a feeling of detachment from the technological world that we live in, and a kind of retreat from that technological world. It just seems to be the number one subject for musicians like myself to write, to build albums around. But like love, there are so many different ways to write music about it. Fear of a Blank Planet obviously was very much tied up with the world of technology and the internet, and how that had affected particularly young kids and their ability to interface with other human beings, or not, as the case may be. This is a very different story about isolation. This is about one individual. It's about one individual that finds themselves retreating from the rest of the world, not because of technology, just because of who knows why. There are people out there like that. They just, for whatever reason, don't feel like they fit in to the planet, or the planet in this time anyway. The 21st century. I mean, we all have feelings like that. We all sort of say, sort of shake our heads and say we don't understand the modern world we live in. We don't understand the younger generation. All this stuff. We all do it. So I think it is a universal. And as I say, I think it is a subject that I come back to time and time again, but it's a subject that musicians come back to time and time. OK Computer is another example of a classic, contemporary rock album. But it's an album about, alienation, the same things that Pete Townsend and Roger Waters were writing about in the 70s. So I think these are universal topics that can be, as I say, like love. How many love songs have been written, but there's still always a way to make it seem fresh, apparently.
Is there any element of autobiography in this record?
I think it's impossible to write any song without there being some element of autobiography. I don't think you can fake it. Even though I'm writing from the perspective of a female about a situation that I haven't, literally been in myself, I'm actually still writing about me. That's what you always do. You write about your hopes, your fears, your dreams, your loves, your losses, your paranoias. But you channel them through whatever character you have chosen to be the vessel. And because I think if you don't do that, people won't feel it there anyway. If you try and fake it. So I think actually, ultimately, whether you're writing a song from your completely autobiographical place or from a completely fictional place, it's still autobiographical, really, because you're drawing on your own experience. You have to. The feelings have to be real. So yes, all of the feelings that this female character, loneliness, melancholia, happiness, detachment, isolation, of course I have felt all those things, as I think most people have, most adults have at least. So yes.
Hey brother, I see the freaks and dispossessed on day release, avoiding the police. I feel I'm falling once again, but now there's no one left to catch me